The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Hello, welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the Riv, and we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. But before we do, I have to address a few of our comments. And we don't mind haters, but you know, the problem with haters is they're projecting their hate on other people. It's like the people who call everybody racist, but they're racist.
Right.
They create racist policies. You know, we talked about the Corky Roll sale. And you know, the problem we have here with these people is that they don't see the forest for the tree. See, they all they want to talk about, you hate that you have to hate veterans. Now, obviously, I don't hate veterans. I'm a veteran. If you don't believe me, you can talk to Bill Damaris, who's in the middle of this. While we all understand that Bill Damaris, and that's the problem, it has a lot of political ties because he's been very active in many campaigns throughout the years, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. He's also done a lot of work for the veterans, and I respect that and acknowledge that. However, the issue was whether this deal would have been made for anybody else who wasn't politically connected. Just like would they have stolen the taxpayers' money if it was Michelle Dion who made that proposal rather than Laura Washington. See, this is what these clowns don't think about. It's not about the who. It's about the how. How you do things. Is it political? We are not in favor of any politicization of anything, whether it's veterans, whether it's children, or whether it's just a small group of people making all the money in Fall River by developing. Fall River is not open for business for every developer. You have to be taken into the inner circle. This is the problem we have in this city. And you people don't want to recognize it. It's like saying we're against education when we're all advocates for education because we say that the school is underperforming. And the classic example of that, I'm glad it happened, Channel 10 News. You got that imbecile, Markey, who I think Bob Carrere said never had an actual thought in his life, who ran on term limits and is still there 40 years later, saying, oh, this is beautiful, that 21st century. Then he said, the rest of the state should want to do exactly what Durfee did. And you guys are going to go, yay, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, Paulie, this is wonderful. Well, the fact is, does the state really want to have 18% being math qualified and 38% in English? In English, their own spoken language, the language of the land, 38%. A school that couldn't make it into the top 200. I don't care how nice that is. Okay, the building is beautiful. It's brand new. State of the art. Everybody should be like Fall River. Really? Do you think Brookline, Newton, Cambridge want to have only 18% of their students proficient in math and 38% of their students proficient in English? No. That doesn't mean we're anti-education. It means the exact opposite, you morons. It means we're pro-education because what we're saying is the educational system is not educating the children. Just like when we said this deal, we asked the question, would it have happened if it wasn't Bill Damaris? And we all know it. Like I said, he's done a lot of stuff for veterans, and we acknowledge that. But you can call Bill Damaris. Him and I had a conversation a while ago. I'll take a few minutes because I think this is worthwhile. About these haters. You know, you want to disagree with us, fine, but you know, don't say we're anti-veteran. But the fact is that remember when you were opposed to the naming of the bridge,
yes,
or whatever, you know. Well, actually, Bill Damaris called me one day, I was coming out of a doctor's appointment, and I sat in a parking lot and talked to him for a very, very long time. And you can ask him, feel free. He asked me if I was going to oppose it in front of the council. You were opposing it, and you have every right to do it.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you exactly what I told him, paraphrasing, because it was a long time ago. But you can ask him. I said, no, I will not go there to oppose it. I said, but I want to give you my feelings on not only this, but all of these things. I said, the only thing I object to is if you put his military title there, they will assume that it was something he did as part of the military, which it isn't. He wanted his father recognized for his service to the city and to the country. And I said, okay. And I said, but let me give you my position on naming anything after anybody. And I think I've said it on the show a couple times.
You did.
I don't believe any public and building, road, bridge, pathway, park bench should be named after any political hack or politician or some rich guy who threw a couple of crumbs to the people. And I told him this. I said, my philosophy, my opinion on that is, after they name every bridge, every building, every pathway, everything after somebody who died, was killed in action, fighting for this country, from the Revolutionary War through Afghanistan, and when they get done with that, well over 1 million, then they can name them after Medal of Honor winners and people who were wounded and lost limbs fighting for their country. I said, that's my position. But I'm also a realist. That position will never be taken because politicians are politicians. And if you guys want to kiss political butt and you want to say things, you can disagree and call us any kind of name you want. But don't you dare say that we're anti-veteran. Because what these politicians do is abhorrent. They camouflage their politics in titles, veterans, children. Do you really need to traipse a bunch of children in front of that for Laura Washington and have all these people talk? Let it go on in merits. And like I said, the issue I have was, would it have gone that way if Michelle Dion would have done it? I don't think so. You would have had people asking all kinds of questions instead of cheerleading everything. So you guys want to complain? I don't care. But don't you say that we're anti-veteran or anti-education. Listen, pay attention, because obviously you're either stupid or you're so political you don't care about the truth. And I got to do one more thing to show you how dumb some of these people are, because probably one of those was one who was responsible for this. Somebody sent me a snapshot from some Facebook thing or something. Somebody said it's true. The 1/3 pounder burger failed. The 1/3 pounder burger failed in America because they thought quarter pounders were bigger. And the response to that was somebody said, "Yeah, because they are." Right? And then he put down 1/3 is less than. You know the little less than thing. It's less than 1/4. 0.33, which is a third. Okay, is greater than 0.25. And the response to that from that individual is, what are those signs? See, this is the problem, because the bottom of the fraction had a 4. 4 is larger than 3. They didn't realize that it's 1/3.
Right.
And 1/4.
And this shows you the math. This shows you the math in the city.
And this is what people who go to school now learn. This is an actual snapshot, and I can give it to you to post on the page. But for all you clowns who want to hate, go on. I don't hate you. I feel sorry for you, because you got to kiss political butt or be stupid, and that's your prerogative. So now on to the regular show.
Well, we've got it. We've got the police report. We've got it all. And many of you have already heard about it because last night, Fall River Reporter and the Fall River Herald News started posting the information on this. We've been holding it for, what, a good week now?
Yep.
Good week?
We've been holding on to it. Yep.
Because we couldn't get a hold of the police report. We don't move forward without the police report. Chip has the police report right in front of him.
I do.
And Council President Pam Laliberte-LeBeau charged with harassing former lover and his wife. So this is a love affair gone bad.
Domestics. So those things are
they're
bad.
always the same.
They're always ugly.
So, according to Joe Good at the Fall River Herald News, charges were filed on Thursday against City Council President Pam Laliberte-LeBeau in Fall River District Court for allegedly harassing telephone calls to the wife of a former paramour and witness intimidation. Yeah, talk about big words. And witness intimidation, according to the Fall River District Court records. Now, we knew yesterday that Pam was going to have to appear in court on the 13th of September. Again, we could not find confirmation of that until yesterday afternoon, so we were going to break that today as well. We want to make sure that the information we have is accurate. So, Westport police were investigating a complaint by a Westport couple who had been receiving harassing and annoying telephone calls, sending texts, images, and calling them, according to a search warrant affidavit. The couple had allegedly been getting calls from so-called spoof or burner telephone numbers. For those people that don't know, you can get it in an app or a program on your smartphone that will change your phone number so people won't know where it's coming from. We have 2 pages, but according to Joe Good, there's a 5-page police report that includes text messages allegedly sent between Laliberte-LeBeau and a fellow real estate agent. The 5-page report obviously has all those text messages and whatnot printed out, but I didn't feel it was necessary to bring all that in. There was some disturbing text messages which were sent. And accordingly, how long does it take for cops to trace a fake Facebook account? Send a picture on a burner app on an iPhone. Judge issues a warrant for third-party phone apps and phone records. Text reads, according to the Westport Police Report. Included in the police report narrative, authored by Westport Detective Turner Ryan, police reports are text messages between Laliberte-LeBeau and fellow Keller Williams real estate agent Fatima Pires that reference the alleged victims. It's unclear which of the women posted the text, but the police report included this among numerous postings: "You keep reigning over the city. Life is good. I can see the headline now. I just wanted to tell the wife he wasn't even that good." Wait, I do have another thing that popped up on my calendar. Marriage to ruin at 10:45. The messages also suggest that there was planting of evidence on an unknown person, to which one of the 2 women responded, "My way is more effective. I feel your way is going to involve trespassing. I didn't say that there wasn't a potential for a minor charges being slapped on us. I'm elected." These are bad things to say for any politician. And I'm going to tell you now, there is already a coup in process amongst the city council. I'm not going to point out any city councilors who may be participating in this coup or who may be starting up this coup, but they want Pam Laliberte-LeBeau to resign. I will tell you this now and for the record. I do not want her to resign. I think she should step down as city council president and go from there, but do not resign. And remember, according to the charter, you only have to resign if you're convicted of a felony. And that hasn't been challenged in court yet. So if you are convicted of a felony, Pam, challenge it in court, because I firmly believe that it'll be struck down. So consider that. My suggestion to you, Pam, and whether you like me or not is irrelevant, I would suggest that you step down as city council president so that you can focus on your defense and to focus on the business of the city. And to those city councilors who want to make this a kangaroo court, as was said to me by another city councilor. If you try to do that, you are abysmal. You are the worst politician I could ever imagine. I know you're already talking to Ricky Teeth. You know who you are. I know you know who you are because I'm talking directly to you. I know you're already talking to him to tell him to get ready because you want to get Pam out of office. Okay? But one of the things I better to let Ricky know, and I'll say it here, you have a restaurant to worry about. And if you don't do what is wanted by the administration or by other political bodies, your restaurant may go through hell and high water. So consider that before you decide you're going to take this. And Pam, honestly, we've already had enough resignations. Please don't resign. We need better than this.
Well, you know, I'm a firm believer in due process, even for my worst enemies. You know, I always have been. Even when I was a union president, I fought as hard for people I didn't particularly care for as I did for the people I did. And if they were right, they were right. If they were wrong, they were wrong. And they have a right to representation and due process. Obviously, this what is being printed is pretty damning. But however, it has to be put into context, and everything about it, her side of the story has not been told. When they go to court, ultimately, I guess she's being arraigned on the 13th, we will get the full story. But even the full story doesn't, until there's a decision rendered by the court, she's entitled to be innocent until proven guilty. I know they said, if she fundamentally confessed, but that's not really true. It was an admission that she made those calls. It wasn't a confession.
Right.
Now, she admitted she made those calls. Now the context of those calls has to be put forth to the judge and to the jury, if there's a jury. Because now you don't know what the context is. They may have been, you know, I don't know what they are. And I'm not going to speculate because I have no idea. And that's the key. The key is she's entitled to due process. She's innocent until proven guilty. If she's convicted of a felony, case is closed. She has to resign. As you said, her option is to fight it in court, as they did with the holding a school committee position. And that was, so far the charter has not won anything.
It's 3-0.
3-0. You know, that charter is a disaster. So listen, let's let this thing play out. But I know that the political hacks are going to really, really come in and try to use this for their own personal gain. And that, for you haters, is what we have a problem with. We should have a fair and equitable system. It should be equal justice, equal opportunity for people. It shouldn't be, if you're friendly, you get it run through. If you're not, they obstruct you. So now on to the MBTA. This has become a little issue too.
Oh, yes.
Now, there's a lot of disinformation going around, and I attempted to try to get to the bottom of it. And I'm going to read you what I sent to Representative Carol Fiola, and I believe you forwarded it to
Alan Sylvia.
Dear Representative Fiola, I respectfully request that you secure an estimate on the cost that will be incurred by the citizens of Fall River if we choose to join the MBTA. Chapter 10, Section 35T speaks to the, quote, state and local contribution fund, unquote. This is a long and very complex section which speaks only to the method of computation of the debt incurred by the state and the local entities. The citizens of Fall River should get a complete picture of not only the potential benefits, but the financial liabilities associated with opting into the MBTA. In addition, I would also ask if the MBTA runs a deficit, will there be additional charges imposed on members? Also, are these deficit charges, if imposed, computed by total revenue or by district? The people have a right to know every aspect that this momentous decision they are being asked to make will bring with it, both good and bad. As always, I thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, you didn't know this, and I didn't know it till this morning. I got a response already.
Oh, wow, good.
Which is now going to be, make me ask her again. And, you know, she responded. She said, hi, Bob. The short answer is that our city will not have any financial commitment beyond what we contributed already for CERTA. I don't know what that means. So I'm going to have to write her another letter, another email, and ask her why the law states that there's a fund created for state and local communities. I want a clarification. Look, that law is like 90 miles long, and it's all numbers and how it's computed. It's all about the mathematics of how they get their money. It doesn't speak to, you know, what they do with the money, and that's the answer I want. I find it hard to believe that that says that there's a fund created for that. And we go back to the question that's on the ballot. They don't let you write the ballot question. Remember, the question that they tell you you have to put on a ballot is their question.
Right.
And it says, shall you become part of? I find it difficult to believe that they say that they want you to say you're going to join that thing. And by the way, there are a little less than 200 communities that are in the MBTA. There's 351 cities and towns in the state of Massachusetts, which means there's about 151 or a little bit more that aren't. So now we're going to have 2 more join, Fall River and New Bedford, which might bring it up to close to 200. But they have a law stating that there's a fund created to contribute to the MBTA. So if you're not a part, so I have to, you know, just call me curious. Are you saying that communities that don't have MBTA have to pay the same as we do if we're part of the MBTA, yet there's a law that says there's a special fund created for people who are in the MBTA? That is not a sufficient answer. I appreciate your quick response, Representative Fiola, but you will receive a follow-up email from me asking you, I want the state. I don't want you to tell me what you think. I don't want you to say the short answer is. I want the long answer. I don't mind reading. I like numbers and I like to read. Send me what you did when I asked you for an opinion about holidays out of the trust fund. You sent me an opinion that said there's no law that you can, that's not even in the law, and I knew that. But you sent me an opinion. And remember, as someone just texted, but I said CERTA, and I probably should have actually given you the whole name. It is Southeastern Regional Transit Authority. It's a regional. That's got nothing to do with the state, something that's fundamentally statewide. These are all the questions. See, people, that's why they hate people like us, because we keep asking questions.
We're so negative.
So, yeah, it's not negative. We just want answers. All I want to know, Carol, is if I want the state to tell me that we're not paying a dime. You're saying that we're not going to pay a dime fundamentally, and I find that hard to believe when I see a law that says there's a specific fund for members of the MBTA on the state level and on the local level on how much they have to contribute.
Remember, you know, this is a very political situation because, number one, we were supposed to be asked if we wanted the MBTA before they spent the money to bring the MBTA here. So they're going to ask the question now after the fact. New Bedford's doing the same thing. Now, what happens, and this is a question that I have, and, you know, Representative Fiola, Representative Sylvia, what happens if the people of Fall River vote down membership in the MBTA? Does the train not come here? Do we still have to pay if we have to pay? Now, from what I have found in my research, and it could be inaccurate, so I'm not going to say it is, that it's written in stone or anything, but I've been told by politicians who are part of MBTA communities that we could be hit with a fee of up to $2 million for participation in the MBTA, and we could be held liable for the deficits that the route has. Now, there's a question on, would that just be Fall River, or would that be Fall River, Somerset, Swansea, Fall River, Fall River, Westport?
Yeah.
Would it be all of them communities? Because guess what? They aren't being asked to be part of the MBTA.
Yeah. And
That's an ancillary benefit to them, that's all.
you're right, because you could say, well, we don't want it in Fall River if we're going to get that bill. Let New Bedford accept it, and we'll drive 12 miles to New Bedford
Exactly.
and jump on a T. Just like we've driven to Quincy Adams Station and parked the
Right.
cars and stuff like that. Listen, we're not being negative. All we want is accuracy and answers. We're not making assumptions, because you know what assume means. It makes an ass out of you and me. It doesn't make sense, as you said, CJ. They're saying it doesn't cost you anything, yet the question says that you shall
Right.
become a part of this. And then the other thing says there's a contribution formula
Right.
for state and local. So none of that stuff makes sense. You're going
Right.
to tell me there's no fee associated with being a member of this, yet they don't let Fall River write the ballot question, and you have to vote on it separately. That all smacks of money.
Of course it
It
does.
all smacks of they want money. All we want to know is, listen, the people can vote. They can say, okay, let us pay $2 million. I don't care. I want the T to be here. I want to ride 2.5 hours to Boston. I'm going to believe these people that there's going to be just an influx of people driving down here to go walk up an empty Pleasant Street and empty South Main Street and wander around in Fall River to do what? Okay, if that's your opinion, fine. Fine. Drink the Kool-Aid like you did with the charter. Drink the Kool-Aid like you always do.
Like you did with the school.
Like you did with the school, and like you're doing with Diamond. Well, they're shoving that Kool-Aid down your throat, whether you like it or not. They made sure they. But see, this is the key. We're not being negative. We're just asking for the truth.
We're
All I
asking the
want to
questions they
see,
should be
all I
asking.
want to see, and I'll let you take it over because you can close. All I want to see is something that the state releases through my rep to us saying there's no cost or there is a cost. That's all.
Yeah, and that's not something that is negative. It's just the fact that we're asking the questions that you, the voter, should be asking. And I'm going to put this out there. The debt exclusion, we don't know how much they're putting on our bill. And I've called the assessor's office. As of now, they have no idea how much they put on our bill. Okay? How the assessor doesn't know that, I'm not sure. Very shortly, 2025, I believe it is, we're going to have $6 million a year taken out of our budget for the Diamond Project. Okay? $6 million a year. Then we're going to add the T. Potentially $2 million more a year. Potentially. We don't know that for a fact,
How
but
much for
potentially.
Durfee?
Okay? Well, that's the thing. We don't know.
But
Okay?
let's say 6. Do the math, CJ,
Yeah.
for us. 6, and 2.
Right, 14.
$14 million
Right.
to a city that can't afford, they don't have 2 nickels to rub together.
Right, and they can't afford the police department. They can't afford the fire department. They can't afford pay raises for police and fire more than 1%. But they can give their political appointees 1.5, 1.5, and 3. They can give the housing authority 3, 3, and 3. Do you find something not working here?
And they can give individuals $19,000. $16,000
Yeah.
pay raises, $4,000 for his chief of staff, $4,000 for the other one,
Not including premium pay yet.
not including premium pay.
So
So-
it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Hey, remember, there's a feast going on down at Kennedy Park. Traffic is going to be abysmal. There's also a feast going on at St. Anthony of the Desert Church. Traffic will be heavy on Eastern Avenue. I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Monday.
Go eat some good Lebanese food.